Space, the final frontier.
This is the podcast of State of the Federation.
Its ongoing mission.
To preview strange new ships.
To seek out new builds and new combinations.
To boldly go where no fleet has gone before.
Hello there, citizens of the Federation, and welcome back to another episode of State of the Federation. My name is Tucker, and I'm here with my co-hosts Robert and Joseph. How you guys doing today?
I am working late and squeezing this in, but it is important, and this is a wonderful news that we have today, so I could not possibly miss an opportunity to talk about these new cards.
I am reborn in the radiance of these card packs.
That seems excessive.
Well, I'm excited. What can I say?
I think we're all excited, right? Like this has been a long time coming, and I think we all have a lot of things to say here. So let's just go ahead and just dive right in. So the three card packs that got shown today are the Cardassian Dreadnought Reborn, the Klingon Raptor class, the IKS, oh boy, Vesbatlh? Vesbatlh? Vesbatlh. Oh boy, I can't. I'm sorry.
Your Klingon is poor.
My Klingon is really bad.
Do you want to know why it's poor?
Oh, I'm dying to know why it's poor.
Because you have no honor.
Ugh. And Prototype 02, the Romulan ship. Okay, so yeah, let's just go ahead. I think we're going to get started with the Dreadnought because there's some pretty interesting cards in here that are going to get referred to a number of times through the course of the episode. So, kicking us off, we have the unique ship, the Dreadnought, the Cardassian ATR 4107 class. It is a unique Cardassian ship with 6 primary weapon value, 0 agility, 4 hull, 5 shields, 2 tech, 2 weapon, evade, target lock, scan. Its unique ability is you cannot equip a captain or admiral to this ship. While this ship has no damage cards, treat its captain's skill as 12, all for the low cost of 29 points. And just as a reminder, points are no longer coupled to stats. What are our thoughts, guys?
I still think that the dial matters. We were not a huge fan of the ship initially, the Dreadnought in the past, and I don't know if this really changes that too much. Although the ability does make it somewhat more playable.
Its captain skill beats Core and Worf now. That's not nothing.
Right, but you could put Core and Worf, well, I guess you couldn't put Core and Worf on here in the past, but I just feel like we weren't flying the ship simply because of captain skill.
We weren't. Sorry, what was that, Robert? We weren't playing it because of captain skill.
Correct. That wasn't the detrimental effect.
I agree. I think not being able to put captains or admirals on a ship is a huge disadvantage, and low captain skill is a huge disadvantage. So this makes a huge difference. And I think, is this the cheapest 6 attack ship in the game? Maybe the D near Universe D.
The weapon 0 is cheaper.
What's the generic one? 28?
26?
No, the name is 30.
Okay, yeah. So it's 28.
So, and I mean, big bases are sometimes better than little bases, but sometimes worse, right? So this is almost a different take on that. I do agree that the dial is troubling, but these are different than these can use admiral actions, right? So if you have Forest in your fleet, this ship can use it.
That's an interesting point. I don't think this is spectacular. I think it's all right. I mean, Decker wrecks it, right? Decker just wrecks this.
Doesn't is great, but he's not in the initial engagement. You're not going to be able to Decker him unless
Uh,
Decker's on the 608. That's
unless
the only
Deck,
way.
or if Decker's the captain of a shuttle.
Yeah, that's true too, I suppose. So
And
like,
we saw that at Worlds. Keep in mind.
no, I agree. That is a viable option, I suppose. So, but not every application of Decker is gonna, because if you get one round with this at 12, that's not bad, right?
I guess so.
I actually think that the generic outshines the named in some respects.
Being limited to skill 0. I mean, it doesn't even have a tech slot for auto navigation. Like, it cannot be
But
above 0.
this is definitely the cheapest 6 attack ship in the game.
Oh well, yeah, and it can carry a fighter too, right?
What ran at 24 points? It can carry a fighter. What ran at 24 points before this?
The Enterprise A.
Yeah, there you go. Right. So
Uh,
the
a
Enterprise the Enterprise A's ability is highly valued in certain circles, and the Enterprise A's ability just basically turns the Enterprise into this ship's stat line.
but it can equip a captain or an admiral,
Yeah, also true.
and it's cheaper.
It's 24 points, and it
Oh yeah. It is. Isn't it? I thought it was. You're right. It is. It is 24. I thought it was 22 for a second. I was misremembering.
It's no small It's no small constitution.
Mm-hmm.
that's right. So I don't know. And then you're right; they're going to be low skilled, but you can have 5 of them. So
That's
how
true.
much of a difference does that make to captains, right?
Is there a way to reduce the cost of this at all? Because if we can reduce the cost of this by 2 points, we can we can we can run three of these
and three fighters.
Actually, you can run 2 of these, a Surak, and 3 fighters.
Yeah, that's starting to get. I'm pretty sure there's not a way to reduce the points because I'm pretty sure there's a reason. I would hope it's by design that you can't do 3 and 3 of these.
Yeah, I'm not looking at this right now. Does it have battle stations on the dial? What's the
It
bar?
does not. Evade, target lock, scan.
It's a bad bar.
So it's a Galler bar.
Yes.
It's not the end of the world. Like, I mean, yeah, would battle stations be great? Yes, but target lock, unless they're cloakers, right?
Mm.
Then you're in pretty good shape.
Hey, you know what this loves? Copilot.
And let's not forget Copilot. Good point. Very good point.
There will be a day that card retires.
I'm pretty sure we'll have something to replace it in
but-
the next 2 years, Robert.
But that is not this day.
That is not this day.
Copilot will be retired, but that is not this day.
And all right, so I think that's about it for the ships. Let's start looking at some of the upgrades because there's no captain here, right? So straight to the upgrades. All right. To probably my favorite upgrade in this pack. Oh my god, here we go. Captured. This upgrade does not require an upgrade slot. This ship gains the independent faction, Suck It Faction Pure. When defending, if the attacking ship shares a faction with this ship other than independent, the attacking ship rolls +1 attack die. It is 1 point.
But will cost 2 probably on any ship you want to play it on.
Yeah, so Joseph and I were talking about this earlier, and the way it shakes out is Quark takes a card that is not deployed to your ship, but has its cost. Like, the ship can see it and figure out what the cost would be to figure out if it's legal for Quark. So since that's figured out before the card is deployed, this would not see the independent faction it gains.
That's right.
What about things like dorsal, like how much dorsal phaser rate costs? Or I thought there
Dorsal
were
phaser rate can't be affected by cost changes.
right, but
It's Federation.
But what about like flagships increasing the PAV through flagships in the cost?
The sequencing matters, but you can't give the ship the independent faction until you've bought the upgrade.
Right, but when does the totaling of points happen?
Well, Robert, if flagships had to pay a faction penalty, you would have to pay a faction penalty for flagships. The only reason they don't is because they're a resource, and resources don't pay faction penalties. Like this,
Well, no,
uh,
my point is that the flagships were giving the factions to the ship,
Right.
right?
right?
But you can buy resources in whatever order you want, and this will still like this. Every other independent thing you put on here will not pay a faction penalty. That's clear.
Right.
But it itself, you will still have to pay the penalty for.
I'm not opposed to that.
No, it's worth 2 points for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. It's great at 2 points. Um,
So, and then you can put this on, and then you can put Captain Hudson on, and he doesn't reduce the cost of this, but boy, he reduces everything else. And you'll probably save points at that point, right? Mm-hmm. What does he cost? 3 points or 4? Must be 3.
Yeah, he's a
3,
high skill captain with no talent.
So 3, yeah, it's got to be.
So it's 5 points. So you'll at least pay for these and get the slot, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Not much more to say about that. It's a fun card, and we got a lot of cards to go through. Quantum torpedoes. This is quantum torpedoes. We don't have the cost, unfortunately. When would you like? I mean, what would it have to be to run it? Like 2?
This is the reprint of the one that came with the set. I think this is solely a reprint card.
Okay, fair.
What did that cost?
5 probably.
No, probably 6 for quantums.
Well,
Let me look. Actually, let's all. Here we go. All right. So we go into Utopia, which already has these new cards. Thank
It
you.
got 6 points. Yeah, it
6 points. Okay. Thank you, Chris. You're amazing. All right.
We do not deserve.
Probably a reprint. Moving on. Balana's codes. Independent 3-point tech upgrade. If one or more time tokens would be placed on a weapons upgrade equipped to the ship, place those tokens on this card instead. That's terrible. When a weapons upgrade equipped to the ship would be discarded, discard this card instead. That's amazing, and they can now never, ever, ever reprint a crew that would discard instead of a tech upgrade.
So the reason that the first part I think is terrible is because you can't do it every time, right? Because as soon as time tokens go on Balana, her text disappears until the time tokens are gone, right? So if you had a weapon that was going to take 3 time tokens and you put it on Balana, the next round when you fired it, those additional 3 couldn't go on Balana because she'd still have 2 time tokens. The second part is good, and that's true. You could never print a crew that could save tech, but that's been true since Interface Generator. So,
No, yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, this is a 3-point or 4-point whatever transphasic torpedo reload.
yeah, that's true.
Aileron weapon.
Yeah. Any of those high cost weapons that are discards are great.
And
Actually, where I thought about using this is Retaliatory Strike.
what does that card do again, Robert?
And that was the card where you get to fire photon torpedoes at a ship if you were attacked.
Just run multiple photon torpedoes.
And any weapon that's kind of fringy good that you discard, this might push it over the top because now you get to use it twice, right?
Oh hey, you know what?
And it's also good. It's also good. Go ahead.
You know what this lets you use twice? Tactical station.
Wow, that is good.
Yeah. So again, we're seeing cards that have multiple uses at very low cost.
Yeah, but that's the thing about any card that saves another card from being discarded is playing with fire, right? Like over the course of the game, that has been proven thoroughly.
Well, we have quite a few of them, right? None for weapons, though, but yeah.
Well, this is the first one for weapons, but like, look at what Crew did. I mean, Lee Nollis alone, good lord.
Yes.
But like, and now we have one for weapons, and we have a powerful weapon right under it. And the thing is, like, we can't ever get this for tech. We can't ever get this for Borg. Like, this is it. This has to be the limit. But I
Yeah,
guess it's cool that we have it.
yes, that's right.
Okay, plasma pulse. This is a 3-point Dominion weapon. It's ship unique. It is a 4 attack, range 1 to 2, forward or rear. Not that you care. The attack says discard this card. The defending ship cannot spend battle stations or evade tokens, which is a great screw you to co-pilot. But the part you really care about is forget all of that, and the other ability is when defending, discard this card. The attacking ship suffers a crit. Crit to the face.
Amazing. Now, it doesn't go through shields
Crit to the face.
because you just get a crit.
Crit to the face.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because the attack isn't that bad, but you're never going to use it for that.
You're never going to use it for the attack.
You're gonna use it to, it's it's just good against any ship because it's 1 damage even if their shields are up. It's potentially devastating against cloakers and ships like Weapon Zero.
Yeah, anything without shields.
Because if that crit, yeah, I mean, a stunned helmsman is terrible. You get a warp core breach on the first turn.
It doesn't matter because the warp core breach never explodes, as we all know.
We've seen how that can impact games. And there are other crits that are almost just as bad.
Yeah,
that,
damage sensor array.
There's no crits that are good.
On somewhat of a non sequitur, do you think they're going to reprint the damage deck in the starter set identical to the current one?
Well, what's interesting is they did update when they released the Force Awakens damage deck for the X-Wing game. They did update it because it advantaged and disadvantaged certain things, and the Star Trek damage deck in some ways is worse because there are a lot of crits that just don't impact the Borg, for example.
Right. Or some that the turns, your turns are red or overlapping obstacles as additional damage. Although somewhat impactful, it's not significant.
The major one is munitions failure, right? I mean, that's either devastating to your build or you just don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, plasma pulse, it's amazing.
And the reason that you're going to want to buy as many of these packs as you can get your hands on.
Many of these as you can get your hands on. Okay. B'Elanna Torres, again. But this time she's a 1-point independent crew who says this ship may reroll 1 blank. If the defending ship is a Dominion ship, this ship may also convert 1 blank into a hit. This is amazing.
But it's only against Dominion ships.
No, it's a 1-point crew. Every 1-point crew is playable. Every single 1-point crew is playable.
Yeah, that's true. And she's playable for her ability. This ship may reroll 1 blank when attacking. That's where the point. She is amazing against the Dominion. She's almost a blow to the Dominion faction because
she's a 1-point Bohica, and you don't need the battle station.
Well,
right against Dominion is what he's saying.
But if you have her and Bohica together, you're always going to get perfect dice, right? 6 out of 6 or 5 out of 5.
Well, you know who you pair her with, and I didn't even think of this until now. You know who you pair her with is Core 8. The standard core upgrade package is now Core, Worf, and B'Elanna Torres.
She does have good synergy, right? She's giving you 2 rerolls by getting onto the ship because she triggers Core and then she gives you 1 herself.
Core is all dice, correct? Not just blanks.
That's true.
Yeah, but that's good because you can reroll the battle stations with Core and then use her to reroll the blank.
Yeah, B'Elanna is a great example of what a good card looks like. William Sanchez, Esquire.
Yes, absolutely. Which is funny because he's Dominion. Now we come to the card. shield adaptation. Unique 5-point Dominion tech can only go on a ship of hull 4 or greater. Discard this card if the ship has no active shields. When defending, the attacking ship rolls -2 attack dice when firing a primary weapon and -1 attack die when firing a weapon upgrade. It's ridiculously powerful.
I think it's an extremely powerful. I think it's too powerful.
It is too powerful.
So, but I believe I think Robert is less concerned. So this is a good one. I think this is a good one to talk about.
Okay, Robert, how does this not warp the entire meta around it?
Okay, so I think we have to take a step back. I've talked to Joseph about this. I think that the meta is shifting in this game. And we might have talked about it last time, but I believe...
And when take a step back and talking to me, he means I was on a bridge and he made me take a step back.
Yeah, so, because and there might have been a push involved.
Yeah.
To entice a step back. But I think the game is going to shift. The game is shifting from clearing the board of all opponent ships to now exchanging between 40 to 60 points with your opponent in 1 hour. So,
which is a matter whether that is good or horrible is a matter of opinion, I suppose, right?
Correct. I think it's good because I think it's more tactics based because you have to determine which points you're taking from your opponent and which points you can sacrifice.
Okay, so the fact that this makes it incredibly hard to kill a thing is not a problem for you.
No, because it means I'm now targeting other things. So
Robert, I can run a fleet that is this on a big ship, this on Bioship Beta, okay?
Right.
And my other ship is attack cancellation recursion.
Right, and I run Nankless and Photon Torpedoes.
And you die horribly.
Not necessarily. I mean, this secondary weapons, dorsal phaser arrays, things of that nature. So I don't think shield adaptation is it's powerful. It's powerful for where the meta is now, but I think as the game shifts, it's not going to be as powerful.
-1 attack die is still pretty darn good against secondary weapons. And there's very few secondary weapons that have 6 attack, right? I mean, there are some, but there's very few, right? So you're aiming to build your ship with this to be able to soak, 6 hits, ideally, right? And so if you're just getting attacked by a secondary weapon with an attack of 5, then
Right.
Your build should still be able to soak those hits, just giving it the -1 attack die, right? And the other point I would make is, I guess it's a point of preference, but the idea that there are just going to be ships that are unkillable, and at the start of the game you have to make the decision that I have to ignore attacking that ship because in this game those kind of ships can't be killed, I think is bad.
Well, it's a 6. I mean, it's a 5-point upgrade, which will most likely be 6 because you're running this on non-Dominion ships. So there's a large investment to make this work. And do we know?
Right.
By the way, do we know what there's a symbol on here that's a square?
That's where the 4+ hull comes from.
Oh, got it. Does it say 4+? It says 3+, 4+ in there. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, so that means 4+ hull. So and 4+ hull ships tend to have lower evade dice.
Well,
Bioship Beta.
With the point cap, Bioship
Voyager.
Beta, you're dumping 6 points into this. Who's your captain?
Khan.
Well, if you
And I'm running Copilot.
Well, Copilot's going to pass out at some point.
In 2 years, Robert.
a year and a half.
A year and a half. This game has been around for 3 years, and literally half of the lifetime of this game is how long it will take Copilot to phase out.
But yeah.
No, Robert, this game came out in August of 2014. It is now August of 2017.
I don't think it substantially matters whether it's half or a third.
That's a significant difference.
It is a point sink, but the question isn't necessarily how much it costs. It's how much does it cost to beat it, right? Because you can discard it. Like, let's not be there are ways to deal with it, but
Right.
so it's actually more than 6 because you're probably going to be playing coast or something to protect it, right? But once you do that, like, what's the cost of defeating it? Like, if you make one of those Voyager evade ships, but now instead of having to get 8 dice and kind of being okay, you only need 5 or 6 dice, and you have costs on there, and what's the cost of, like, stopping
Yeah,
that ship?
well, cost is going to be 3 points. So you're dumping 9. You're dumping 9 points into the 20 points total you can put on that ship.
Right.
Unless I mean, you could be doing malts or other things.
Well, you're definitely, I think, if you're making a ship that can't die, you're not definitely, but you're more times than not going to be using a shuttle because you're going to be locking more points into it.
Yeah.
Right, because like it's advantageous to you to dock that shuttle on the ship that's invincible. Like even beyond just turning it
I
into a
just don't think.
dreadnought. In other words, it's a good idea to just make the thing
Yeah.
invincible.
I just don't think it's invincible. I think there will be cards that come out in the future that deal with this. We have seen that in the past from WizKids, and I think that the game is shifting in a way that this is not as overpowered as you guys believe.
Okay, whatever you say.
But here's my other prediction. I am fairly confident that this will not show up in Worlds 2018.
How much money do you want to put on that?
No, $100.
Ooh, that's pretty confident.
That's really tempting. Are you?
Joseph might actually run it.
for $100.
Oof.
I'm not necessarily utterly convinced that you're wrong, Robert, other than if the meta switches in exactly the way you describe, where you're just stealing, or you're not stealing, you're just getting 20 or 40 points or something from someone, which again I hope that you're wrong, because I don't want to play that game, but it is a powerful card then, and it means there can only be one card like it, because as soon as there's another one, now you have 2 ships that can't be killed, and now you're not getting any points anywhere, right?
Right. I mean, and that's the risk of my projection, is that that somebody can run 2 unkillable ships and kind of ruin the game.
Did everyone just ignore my point about attack cancellation recursion?
Well, I just don't think that's as good as it used to be. But warp jump is the point.
Wait. Well, that too, but wait. Why not just run Colo? Why not just run Colo on this ship?
Well, what is this ship, by the way?
Who cares? Bioship Beta.
Probably Voyager.
Yeah, probably Voyager's most likely one. But if you're again, the points, you're talking about so many points you're committing to this.
Yeah, but you're saying that you're saying that your strategy, okay, for your theoretical meta is to just not shoot at this ship. Well, screw you. I have Cola. You have to shoot at this ship.
Right, but I'm also saying you're running things like Nankless. So
it doesn't matter. I'm taking 2 dice off your primary and 1 die off all of your secondaries. I'm negating one of your hits every single time with Bioship Beta, and I'm shooting back with that and co-pilot quality.
Okay, well, first of all, Voyager only has 4 attack dice, so.
Well, yeah, this just murders Voyager, but I'm not using Voyager. I'm using Bioship Beta. Oh my God, are you listening to what I'm saying?
No, here, let me put it, I guess, in more general terms, because it's a larger argument than just this one card, which is this. I think that there may or may not, I'm not certain of it, but there may be a trend toward cards avoiding combat or preventing ships from dying being cheaper or costing less opportunity than the cards and ships designed to kill them, right? So warp jump is 5 points, but wow, does it impact a ship not dying, right? Yes, this is probably 6 points, but wow, does it impact a ship not dying? And at Worlds, it was already really hard to kill ships because we had so many tools to keep them alive and out of combat. So now we're adding maybe the best one yet on top of it.
Sorry, one other major point that comes from Will Sanchez before I forget. Remember how we were trying to make 3 die attack ships as swarms a thing?
Mm-hmm.
LOL.
See, I disagree again.
Well, they're not
What,
going
what
to
are
be
you
able to.
gonna do? Shoot at me with 2-die pop guns?
I think this game wants swarm fleets to work, and we see that with the
This
recasting.
card single-handedly says Swarm Fleets lose.
No, this card says you have one ship because it's unique that will be difficult for swarm ships to kill.
Okay, so your second ship is a shuttle
Right.
docked on this one, and your third ship is a ship that's worth like two of the Swarm Fleet ships, maybe.
So again, isn't there a Klingon card that says its attack dice can't be modified?
Only works on defense, and we're getting there. Um,
Right.
so in order to get there, we have to get through the rest of this pack, and we got a number of more cards to go. Plasma Wave. 4-point attack, range 1. Joseph, see how this doesn't have an arc on it? So this has
And
to
you
be
can
360
target
as well. So
to-
4-point, 4 attack, range 1, Dreadnought only, 3-point Dominion weapon. Plasma Wave attack, place 2 time tokens on this card and target all opposing ships. What did you say? This makes Dreadnoughts a bad Regent's flagship? Is that what you said?
That's right. Yeah. Which isn't good because the Regent's flagship isn't particularly good, but it's not the end of the world.
I don't know. Is there anything even to friggin' say about this?
I'm not convinced that it's unusable if you have 3 points and you're running generic dreadnoughts. It does. As I was saying, to beat dreadnoughts, you want to be behind your opponent's ship, and the way now you have to be behind your opponent's ship in range 2 to 3, which then it makes it harder to stay out of that 180-degree arc, right?
I mean, I
Now
guess,
it's not.
but
If your opponent is good and knows how to really pilot, they can do it, but the margin for error is less.
yeah, but it's not worth 3 points. I mean, the point of dreadnoughts is that they're cheap, right? Like they're cheap 6 attack dice, and this just makes them more expensive.
I agree. If you're taking generic dreadnoughts, then I don't think you want to dump 3 points into this. So I don't see much of a use for it.
Yeah. Okay, final
Now
stage.
this does say it does say target all opposing ships. I'm not convinced you're wrong on the other card, but let's
We'll get there.
just remember that as we get to it.
Okay, final stage targeting. 3-point Dominion tech. This ship can only target ships it has a target lock token on. When attacking, defending ships must skip the modified defense dice step. So here's my opinion on this. There are certain strategies in this game that people, for some reason, there are certain strategies in this game that attract a certain type of person. Now, I'm not saying that everybody that plays core builds or the heavy defense builds are like this, because they're not. Some of them are great. But for some reason, the people who tend to whine when their builds are like aggressively trolled,
Not invincible.
not invincible, really tend to go for those builds. Therefore, this card is hilarious to me. Hilarious. You try to get me to shoot. You say I have to shoot core? Screw you. Target lock.
So to be clear, you don't get to spend your target lock, because if you spend it, that's before your opponent's modify defense dice step. But they don't get to add evades. They don't get to use battle station. They don't get to. Do you add evade tokens in the modified events? I think so, right?
Excuse me. Yes, you do. First of all, so this is another card that says "LOL, Copilot, go screw yourself." But this ship can only target ships that it has a target lock token on.
Yes, so it's
You
great.
declare target way before modify attack dice step.
Yeah, that's right.
So you can spend that target lock.
This ship can only Oh, but they'll get their modified defense dice step if you spend your target lock.
No, they won't.
When attacking, defending ships must skip the modified defense dice step. So you spend your target lock.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you're right. They can't.
Yeah, because you're still attacking them.
Yeah, you can spend it.
You
Oh,
just have to attack the one ship.
that's great.
Yes. On the other hand, cloaking wrecks this.
It's bad against cloaking
It's so bad against cloaking.
because your ship is shut off until you get a target log on something.
Right. Well, until you can attack something, right? Because because it doesn't even disable to do this. Yeah. No. Well, I would maybe find a way to like put this on something that can occasionally disable an upgrade if you have to, or find a way to do that. Um,
And that's a really good idea. Or even discard for something, right?
right. Exactly. But this card is like so. The other thing to say is we said, remember, core says you have to attack him if able. I'm sorry, I'm target locked on somebody else. I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that.
And that alone, I think it has a lot of general purpose. But that alone makes it a really interesting and important metagame card.
Yeah, this card is hysterically good at wrecking those builds. So be prepared for the mounds of salt that this card will generate. All right.
And in fairness, to Robert's point, in fairness, this does hurt that unkillable Voyager with the shield adaptation we were just talking about.
Yeah, it does, and it hurts a lot of builds we saw worlds. Right, it hurts biological technology. It hurts. I guess it doesn't really hurt cloaking, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good card. It's a good meta card. Worth getting. Worth getting in multiples. It's not unique. All right. Last card from this pack is Thoron Shock Emitter. It is a 6-die weapon, range 1 to 3. Dreadnought only. 2-point Dominion weapon. No arcs listed. That's important. Attack, discard this card. The ship may reroll any number of attack dice. Okay, so before we get into the who's and whys of it, it is a 6-die attack, range 1 to 3, that gets a free target lock reroll for 2 points. That's alright. That's pretty good. It can only go on a ship that has a 6-die 180 anyway, but it's pretty good. I think that because this card does not have any listed arcs, it can be shot in a 360.
So, I think it's up for debate.
Mm-hmm.
In the old way of the cards being templated, right? It would just be able to be shot out of the ship's primary arc, right? There's a ruling on energy dissipator or something, right? That if it doesn't list arcs, it can only be fired out of the main primary arc, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other ship in its text, or the other weapon rather, does say you get to target all opposing ships at range 1, and this doesn't have any language like that.
I think we need to see. I think we might need to see if a card only has the forward arc listed. Right?
Right.
That's what we're going to need to see. So if we see one of those, and I don't remember if there's one of those in the packs, you guys at home might be screaming about it. There's not one in the Oberth pack, right? Because that has no weapons. So it may be a while before we figure out exactly how this works.
Yeah.
If it's not a 360, this isn't very good.
It's not terrible though, right?
No, it's a free action target lock that works against cloakers. Like it's not bad. It's just it's not
for 2 points.
For 2 points, right? It's not bad. It's just
like if this wasn't Dreadnought only, it would be broken.
Oh yeah, it would be absurdly broken. But like It is Dreadnought only, and again, same kind of thing as with the other one. Is that like, do we really want to be running this on a ship we're probably taking because it's cheap?
Well, I think it's a meta call. If you're facing a lot of cloakers, then I think you definitely want it. Because scan target lock, which is what you'd have then at your disposal without the battle stations, with 6 dice is not terrible against cloakers.
Oh man, Joseph, you know what I just realized? Friggin' Degra.
Oh, what? This is an 8 attack now?
No, seven. But no, my point is like if Dagger's on weapon zero with that thing that's like the secondary weapon that's equal to the primary attack plus one, Dagger's shooting 7 dice into uh, shield adaptation after the reduction.
After the -1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or no,
but
it's 8. That's right, because it's only -1.
if you're building a ship to cancel 6 hits, right? And now, okay, now you can put damage across, but it's 2 damage in attack,
Well, what if I'm running final target sequence on that too?
which does what?
The one that you can't modify defense dice or
Yeah,
final
okay.
stage targeting. Like that seems
Okay, so then this goes back to that's a way through it, right? And having 2 discards is also another way through it, right? But this is my point. Are you putting more effort into defeating it than taking it?
Well, no,
And is
because
that,
it's not like a 9 die Degra super weapon is bad. That's like a 30-point build.
well, it is bad because it's on weapon 0, right? Which is not a very good ship currently.
I like weapon zero.
Yeah, you liked it when you could jack up the defense dice, but that's not how it works, right?
What do you mean that's not how it works?
You can't have Sulu and stuff on there to protect it anymore. To help
It-
to help it.
You can have co-pilot.
Yeah, you can modify your defense dice, but you can't get more defense dice than the numbers of hits that got through. And why that matters a lot is even with rerolls and battle stations, you're likely to let in 1 or 2 hits, and even if it's 1, that's likely a crit. So that's
Okay, we're
fatal.
We're getting off topic here. Long story short. Also, by the way, if this is a 360, it's obviously amazing.
It's the best weapon in the game.
Well, it only works on dreadnoughts.
The dreadnoughts get the old Borg arcs.
Huh, yeah, that's true. That's funny. Okay, so final thoughts on this pack. It has Plasma Pulse. That's a $10 card. Buy as many as you can.
Yeah, I agree.
And, well, keep in mind that for the generics, right, you're also going to have to buy the other packs as well.
Boy, it's pricey.
Right?
It's very pricey now.
It's very pricey. Yeah, for the generic ships, it's like twice as much. But shield adaptation, Balana Taurus, this is a great pack. You should definitely get at least one. You should probably get like 3. What would you not run in this pack besides quantum torpedoes?
Is it better than the Grissom?
Is it better than the Grissom? That's a good question.
Plasma wave.
Yeah. Comparable. Get them both.
Robert,
Get them both.
better or worse?
Actually, I think it's very interesting. I think Grissom is much more a support ship, and the cards related to support ship, and then this is more of attack ship. And I think and the cards relate to how those two things stand out. I like that secondary weapons cost 2 on this, and I think we're going to see more of that. So I wonder if it's not comparable in the sense of which is better.
Yes, I agree. So the Grissom's probably a little more versatile, or the Grissom's upgrades are a little more versatile, rather. Okay, well, next pack, 1 pack down, 2 to go.
Let's go look at the official preview, which is the IKS Batlh. Yeah, so we've previewed the ship already. Well, I don't think we really have. IKS Batlh is 3132. Has a tech, a weapon, a crew, like the Samra. It's a Raptor class. Bar is evade, target lock, scan. Ability is when this ship suffers damage from an obstacle or minefield, reduce the damage by 1. It is all of 13 points, and the generic is 11. I think it's a big deal that there's now an 11-point ship in the game, right? Anytime there's a new cheapest ship in the game, that's a big deal.
An 11-point ship with 3 attack dice and target lock, presumably.
And possibly a tech slot. The generic Raptor right now has a tech slot. That's a really big deal. And it's a Klingon ship, right?
Yeah, so I know exactly what you're going to say, which is projected stasis fields for all.
You don't know me. I could have said EM pulse.
So, because if the generic at 11 has a tech slot, that's 16 points for a projected stasis field and a 3 attack ship. I mean, not that it would be attacking with 3 dice if it's projected stasis field,
But it would still
on
get
that
one,
turn anyway.
right? It would still get an attack die. Like, it would get 2
Yeah.
at range 1,
Exactly.
which is crazy.
Yeah, if there's going to be a swarm fleet, this is the ship that's going to do it. Or is it? That's a little tease for the last one, folks. But it may well be this one. 11. What you get? You can get 11 of them in, right?
Yes, 121 points.
God, that's an expensive fleet, though.
Yeah, that's hang on, 25. That's $275 if you get them all at MSRP and don't pay tax.
Yeah, and then that's 9 points. So you can run 3 of them can have type 8s if it's got a weapon slot. Or you can run 2 cloak mines if they've got a tech slot.
Or you can run
or projected stasis field and something.
Or you can run Gowron 5 and Martok 9.
Yeah. Or you know what you'll probably would run is whatever placeholder you needed to get the slot and then detonation codes. Because if you're running a swarm, you need to get rid of cloak mines.
Yeah. Oh, hey, speaking of placeholders, we've got a couple captains here. So first of all, we have Duras, son of Tural. So not Duras, father of Tural, or Tural, son of Duras. Duras, son of Tural. His ability, he's a 6 point.
Does that not have a unique? Is there not a unique sign on that?
So apparently Duras, son of Tural, is a clone. Either that, or Duras is a both Duras and Tural are remarkably common names in the House of Duras.
Well, okay. Assuming it's a misprint, and there's supposed to be a unique sign. You can run him and the old Duras, can't you? Because their name's different.
Yeah, that's the point.
Okay.
And they're different characters too, right? Like that's the point. That's why he's called Duras, son of Tural.
Oh, I thought it was the same.
No. This is the Duras from Enterprise.
Oh, that makes sense, right? Because I don't watch that show.
Oh boy. Anyway, he's a 6 point force, or he's a 6 skill 4 point Klingon captain, elite talent. He has a range of 1 to 2, and he says activation phase. After an enemy ship in range moves, you may change the ship's maneuver. That's amazing.
It's strong, even with a captain of 6, and then you can make him a lot better.
You can make him
right?
9 with Worf.
Crew, staple him, crew Worf to him. I mean, it's probably not as good a pairing as Core and Worf, but it's pretty good. And then there are other ways to boost captain skill in this day and age too. So
Yeah, Riker.
he's someone that scales. Garrick, if it's on a mirror ship. Co-pilot, if it's
Fixed.
working
Yeah.
that way. So there's, co-pilot wouldn't work because that's in the combat phase, and you've already done your movement. But no, this is a scalable card, right? On his own, he's not bad. He's good, and then you can make him excellent.
Yeah.
You can make him extremely excellent.
On the other hand, not Clang, but Clang. There's a lot of A's in there. He's a 2 point Klingon captain, 2 skill, unique talent, early talent, I should say, which is good. He is unique, unlike Duras, son of Tural. And he says, when attacking, if the defending ship is an independent faction ship or has an independent faction upgrade equipped to it, this ship rolls +1 attack die. Oh, he hates Khan. I just got that.
Well, he's against them.
No. But that's he's from the era where the augment virus infected the Klingons. So he hates the augments, of which one of whom is Khan.
Is this like okay? Explain this to me.
Yes.
As a brief aside.
Sure.
If these are from Enterprise,
Yes.
why do they have forehead ridges?
Well, if you watched Enterprise, you know that.
Which I will never do.
So you don't even know if it's good or not.
I do know. I watched enough to know.
Okay.
I watched them have to put decompression sex jelly on each other, and then I watched Archer become livid that his dog infected, and then that was that. I think that's fair. Right?
You watch Archer become livid that his dog was what?
He took his dog to a planet, and the dog that made the aliens sick, and then Archer was upset that they had such a bad reaction. Who doesn't like dogs?
All right. Okay. Fair.
Eh.
So yeah.
So anyway, that captain is fun, but not good.
Nah. He's a 2-point elite talent holder. I mean,
In a game that has multiple 1-point elite talent holders.
well, yeah. All right. DNA encoded message. So this says, setup, place 3 Klingon elite talent upgrades under this card, face down beneath this card. Activation phase, discard this card. Flip one of the Klingon elite talent upgrades beneath this card, face up, and equip it to the captain, equipped to this ship. Remove the 2 face down Klingon elite talent upgrades from the game. It's a 5-point Klingon elite talent. So what this really says is setup, put detonation codes in Cha and one other talent, probably once more into the breach or something, face down beneath this card. Activation phase, discard this card, flip one of either detonation codes in Cha or one other Klingon elite talent, probably once more into the breach or something, beneath this card, face up, and equip it to the captain, equip to the ship. Remove whichever of Insha and detonation codes you didn't pick, and whatever the other one was, probably once more into the breach from the game.
Yeah, and the reason for that is detonation codes is amazing if your opponent's running cloaked mines, but it was hard to take sometimes because if they're not running cloaked mines, it's a dead 4 points or 5 points. This allows you to always have detonation codes, which helps you so much in those matchups against cloaked mines, and you don't pay an opportunity cost.
But you pay one,
or a small one anyway.
You pay a 1-point cost, Crimea River, right?
Well, and you have to take. I mean, you can't put lure in that slot.
Okay.
If you said to me, okay, your opponent's not playing cloaked mines, then I'm not taking Insha in that slot. I'm taking lure, right? Or whatever.
Yeah, fair. It's good. I mean, it's stapled to detonation codes, but that's fine. It's a good card. I'll play it. It'll make the cut for playables. So Goroth. So this is a fun one. 2-point Klingon crew, range 1 to 2, unique. Add 1 crew upgrade to the ship's upgrade bar. Action: discard this card. Discard 1 crew upgrade and target an opposing ship. Save the captain equipped to the target ship. 608 loves this card.
Yeah. So this is a tournament players card. You're going to use it on the 608 because it gives you an extra discard. You're going to use it on Quark's treasure because you're going to take cargo hold. You're going to use Goroth because you can only have a maximum of 4 points of crew in there. So you're going to take Goroth for 2, and then he's going to create a new crew slot, and you can put a 10-point crew in that slot if that's the way you feel it should go. And then I can't think of anything else like that, but there will be useful things.
Okay, so another thing like that
to do.
Another thing like that is Eric Motz. Here's a hilarious thing you can do right now. Okay, you take your cargo hold, right? You take this and you take Eric Motz, which means you can fit Varel and feedback pulse into a cargo hold.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly exactly right.
Please don't ever
That
do
works out
that,
nice.
by the way. Don't ever do that. But still, it's the principle.
And he is, uh, he's worse than Deanna Troy for his actual ability.
Oh, his actual ability is terrible. You're never going to use him for that.
Is it?
Yes.
Disable the captain equipped to the target ship. Well, Deanna Troy is awesome.
Yeah, but this requires you to discard 2 upgrades to do it, and you don't get a battle stations.
Yeah, but you're discarding him, which is the same as Troy. And then if you have Sakona or something on your ship, what's the diff? Or Jennifer Sisko. But you're right, you don't get a battle station.
But he is slotless.
And he's cheaper on a Klingon
Okay,
ship.
so well, yeah, but who cares? Like let's think of it this way. He's 3 points to add this ability to Sakona. That's actually really good.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even think of it like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're probably going to want Sakona for conditional surrender, but maybe not. Not always.
Well,
So use him for this.
what if you have Sakona and Jen Sisko? I mean, I think Jordan Cott had them both on the same ship last year.
Yeah, he may well have.
Oh, hey, you know who else this is really good for? Core.
Oh, yeah, he is good for core.
I mean, at this point,
He's very good for core.
yeah, at this point, Core can go on a ship with 1 crew slot, okay? 1 natural crew slot, and equip this, Worf, and B'Elanna Torres.
And one more. He gives a crew slot too, right?
Yeah, but Worf goes in Goroth's, who goes in Core's, and then B'Elanna Torres goes in the natural one.
Right. So, yeah, this is a good card.
This is an amazing card. Anyway, Kolos. 3-point, unique, Klingon crew. If the captain equipped to the ship would be disabled or discarded, discard this card instead. There is no point at which Lee Nahlis is not better than this card.
Correct. And if Lee Nahlis is used elsewhere and you have a Klingon ship and you want to protect both your captains from Gul Madred or something, maybe there's no better option, I guess, right?
I would strongly consider running Odo.
Well, if you don't have any other crew, then it doesn't matter. Then their ability is functionally the same.
I guess.
So you wouldn't run Odo.
This is so bad though. Like that's such a specific circumstance.
Yeah, the only time he's playable is if Lee Nahlis is committed elsewhere, and you want to protect another captain on a Klingon ship, and then it's like 2 Lee Nahlises, which is not bad. Like you wrecked the day of that Gul Madred fleet if you're running that.
Okay, so what you're saying is this card is designed to help ruin Robert's hopes and dreams. I can get behind that.
So now you see why I like it so much.
Fair enough. Okay, so next we have photon torpedoes, and possibly for the first time in the history of this podcast, we are not going to skip this during a preview. It is a 4-die, range 2 to 3, 2-point Klingon weapon. Can be fired out of the forward or rear arcs. And it says attack. If this ship has a target lock token on the defending ship, place 2 time tokens on this card. This ship may convert 1 battle stations into a crit. You don't have to spend the target lock.
So the amazing thing about this card is you don't need a target lock. I'm just kidding.
Okay, let's be clear. No, wait a minute. I know what you're doing. No! You stop that, Joseph Vanderyacht. You stop that.
So I think you do need a target lock.
Obviously,
So
Richard.
I think the wording leaves something to be desired, to be perfectly honest.
Well, it's the same issue we had with close range scan, right?
Which was what?
Which was trying to figure out if it meant you could only do it if you had a scan token and you had to disable a shield, or if you could always do it and then if you already had a scan token, it caused you to disable the shield. But I think we finally came down on the side of you could only do it if you already have the scan which
Right,
is
yeah.
the side of sanity. I don't
So there's, what did you mention? Cargo? No, Torpedo Bay.
torpedo bay.
So you can fire this every turn with Torpedo Bay.
Yep.
Being able to spend the target lock. So being able to use your action each turn on a target lock and then spend it for rerolls with one battle station conversion baked in to a crit, nonetheless, is actually pretty good. You don't need that many battle station conversions on 4 dice. So 4 dice itself isn't great, but this is a playable card.
Okay, so I actually just went and reread Torpedo Bay. The issue is it works like Balana's codes, so you'd actually need 2 Torpedo Bays in order to get this to fire every turn.
Wow. Okay. So it's a Sakona depending.
Well, or you could just use Arsenal, which is 4 points, and
Or you could just use ours.
gives you the weapon slot back. Right. I hate to say it, but I feel weird saying it, but this Photon Torpedoes card might actually be kind of good. That's weird to me, man.
All those old Fed ships who have low attack dice, but a rear arc. I mean, this is really interesting on those Excelsiors, the Galaxies.
The Reliance. That's a 270 arc with this card.
Yeah, that and now you're up to 4 attack, right? Like it really does work on the Reliant, on their Miranda class ships. For all of 3 points with faction penalty.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Times have changed.
Times have changed. And a Miranda. No, that's weapon crew. Okay, so you would have to use Arsenal there. But okay, whatever. All right. So last couple cards here we have 2 techs. The first is Dispersive Armor. It's a non-unique. Sorry. God, I keep. For all of you people who have played the L5R card game or the Doomtown card game, actually, I think it would just the Doomtown card game. You know why I keep calling this non-unique. It is 1 per ship, 3 or less hull, only. 4-point Klingon tech. When defending, disable this card. This game round, replace the attacking ship's primary weapon value with 4. For the remainder of the game round, the attacking ship's primary weapon value cannot be replaced or modified. Okay. First of all, we are making the assumption that this means that you can't change the value of the attack once it's been changed to 4. It just means that whatever they were throwing, they're now throwing 4 dice. Given that assumption, the design of this card is friggin' genius, and I love it. Whoever designed this card is a friggin' genius. Seriously.
I really enjoy this card as well. I'm not. It's good. It doesn't worry me the same way that Shield Adaptation does because it's a disable, so it can't just take on all comers indefinitely, right?
Right.
I would assume that the reason behind the design is that it does nothing against 4 attack and lower ships, which traditionally have not been played very much, and it's great against 6 attack dice ships.
Yeah.
And if it does, as we believe, go on.
I was just gonna say the kind of ship it helps the most is actually 4 attack dice ships, which are and have been for a while the worst ships in the game, basically.
That's right. They've been unplayable, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, it's a good card.
Yeah. Not much else to say, I don't think.
It might. We'll have to see. It might be a real good push for swarms because a lot of those ships have 5 hull. So now if you put one of these on, they can't be one-shotted, right? And that's important for a swarm.
You mean 5 durability, right?
What did I say?
5 hull.
Yeah, 5 total durability. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Reactor Pit. 3-point Klingon tech. Planning phase, disable this card. Remove an auxiliary power token from beside this ship. It's like Power Grid, but worse in Klingon.
Yeah, it's There's literally no reason to take this card instead of Power Grid that I can think of.
Well, there's like, even if you don't want to take it instead of Power Grid, there's that one Vulcan one, that one other Vulcan one that is 3 points. That's like just remove an auxiliary power token whenever you want. Auxiliary control room.
Yeah, but at least this would be cheaper on a Klingon ship.
Right.
Power Grid would be 3 points on a Klingon ship.
Oh well. Okay, last card, and this is the one people are really going to get excited about from this pack, I think, besides maybe Dispersive Armor, is Photon Detonation. This card, it's a 3-point non-unique Klingon upgrade, range 1 to 2. This card counts as, that's really important, either a tech upgrade or a weapon upgrade. Action: disable this card. Oh wow, that's a disable? I thought this was a discard. Oh my god. Okay. Action: disable this card. Place 3 time tokens on a Photon Torpedoes upgrade equipped to this ship, and target a minefield token. Remove the minefield token from play. Joseph, this is amazing.
Is it better than detonation codes?
B'Elanna Torres means you can do this 2 turns in a row. Or not B'Elanna Torres, B'Elanna's Codes. Which we maybe somewhat unfairly maligned.
Do you want to use the effect twice in a game?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, you can't do it 2 turns in a row because you have to disable the thing. But, I think absolutely. How many fleets? I mean, a lot of fleets run 2 copies of Cloaked Mines, right?
I don't know about anymore. But to me, it's more that if you disable one of the Cloaked Mines, then you should have room to maneuver, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you can also get rid of the other one with this.
That's right.
I guess if you're running Photon Torpedoes, run this card.
Yeah, that's true. Get some synergy out of it. Because it's going to be the same price or more expensive than debt codes, right? Because it's 3, and then the cheapest Photon Torpedo is 2.
Well, I mean, if you're already running photons, it's cheaper to run
That's
this.
what I mean. Yeah. So if you can get that synergy, then I think it's worth it.
Yeah. It also doesn't hurt you if you happen to be too close to the mines when you do this.
Oh yeah, that's a difference too. So in any event, it's it's another tool to deal with cloak mines. So that should be exciting. Though honestly, detonation codes hasn't made the splash I thought it would. Other than I think maybe people just don't play cloak mines as much because the card exists. So maybe that'll help. Maybe it'll just be more of a deterrent.
Yeah, there you go. Verdict on this pack: buy 11 and 11 Samras.
That's an expensive. I'd love to see it though.
Please don't do that. I would get a couple of these for Dispersive Armor alone. I mean, Photon Detonation is also handy. Those Photon Torpedoes, actually.
Yeah.
I could see a torpedo fleet.
Yeah. I that would be my. Yeah.
Definitely get at least one. Definitely get at least one.
That's worth it in multiples. And then the unique, like Goroth is good, and Duras is. Yeah, which I would say about all these. I mean, these are all solid packs, right? Like, these would all be. If we count this as one wave, when you do your Star 300, this might unseat. It won't unseat Wave 0, but it might unseat.
This
it won't. Unseat.
This might unseat Wave 0. Hang on. Let me have a look.
No, because Wave 0 had 6 ships.
Yeah, but not all of the cards were playable. It had 6 ships, including the USS Enterprise. Yes, I fully concede that. But let me just look here. So I gotta pull it up on a thing that's a little. Oh no, this is not going to be able to handle it. I can't actually look at it right now. I would have had to pull it up before we started.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fine.
all right.
It'll be an interesting follow up.
Okay. So last pack.
But
Man,
certainly not least. But
it
certainly not
has been
least.
it has been so long since we've done a 3-ship preview show.
Yeah.
You remember we used to do these all the time?
To tell you the truth, I think that was before my time.
My
So
God, it was, wasn't it?
that's how long it's been.
Wow.
That's when you
This
guys were
is
scrabbling around in the dark without my wisdom.
this is so great. I'm so happy right now, you guys. Like everybody listening,
Uh,
man,
uh,
this is just
aren't the faction packs still scheduled for September?
oh wow. Oh
Are they?
wow. I think they might be.
So within a month, we're gonna have 2 faction packs to preview.
Whew. And the starter. The starter's going to be an episode.
Yeah, and then the starter shortly out there. I think it's a month later, isn't it?
Oh.
Anyway,
Um,
they're coming.
yeah. Boon times, man. Boon times are here again. All right, so this next pack, the last pack, is Prototype 02! Romulan drone ship. It is a 3333 with tech weapon. It's a unique Romulan drone ship. Ability or action bar is evade target lock sensor, same as the Klingon ship. Weirdly, ability is planning phase. Place an auxiliary power token beside this ship. Remove 1 time token from each tech upgrade equipped to this ship. The ship may only be equipped with Garib or a Romulan drone pilot as its captain. It costs all of 19 points. The generic is a 3332. That's tech weapon for 16 points. Right.
And 16 points as a start. You add 2 cloaked mines. That's 22 points because it's in faction. It's a Romulan ship for 2 cloaked mines, and then you take what was it called? Plasma pulse or plasma wave?
Plasma pulse.
Plasma pulse for 3 points or 4.
3 points.
For 3 points, that's 25. So you can take 5 of those. So that's 10 cloaked mines, and every ship that gets attacked gives your opponent ship a crit, and they've got to do 5 damage through 3 of 8 dice. And do you still have room for co-pilot as well? Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
So that is interesting. That is a powerhouse.
Well, that's a stupid fleet. I hate that fleet.
It would have a tough time with cloaking if they could just do circles. But even that's tough, right? Because they have to do circles because everywhere else is covered in mines except range 2 of their ship. And then you could run into them to get bumps. I guess if they have co-pilot, they'll slow quality.
Well, keep in mind also, these ships are very maneuverable.
That's true. They have white comebouts, don't they?
They have white comebouts, which is so. This fleet is stupid, and I hate it already. With that said, I have never seen a better candidate to be eaten alive by that triple scan ship we were talking about last time.
Yeah, that's true. That would be perfect. Just knock off it because it's a really high variant ship, right? Because if you blank out on the rolls, they can one shot it, right? But if you roll 3 of 8s, it's a capital ship. It's a ship of the line, right? Because now it's 8 all of a sudden, right? It's got the equivalent of 8.
Can I point something out to you?
You may.
Okay, so you were just talking. So we're saying this fleet has, we said, what, 10 cloaked mines?
That's right.
And how many times would I want to use photon detonation in a game, Joseph?
Well, if you think that 2 uses of photon detonations versus 1 is going to help you against a cloak that has 10 cloaked mines, I've got some news for you. Unless you're going to use it about 5 times, it's not even worth activating once, probably. So.
Why you got to kill all my fun? Why you gotta be like that? Okay, so
The ship
I
ability
get.
is okay. They, if they do anything, keep your eyes peeled, because if they do anything that does the same thing that can go on this ship, then it's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so let's keep going. I guess since this can only have Garib or Romulan drone pilot, we won't get any new captain. Oh wait, we have Jamel. Now I have seen this episode. I really don't remember this girl, but okay, maybe she was Garib's sister. I remember Garib had a sister. Um, anyway, she is a captain. And says this card cannot be affected by anything that affects a captain, and this card counts as a Romulan drone pilot. Also, she can only be equipped to a Romulan drone class. So she's a little clipped, but I think I can read her. She's range 1 to 2, action, target an opposing ship in this ship's primary firing arc. The target ship rolls -2 attack dice against this ship. If my eyes don't deceive me, she is a 3 skill, 2-point independent Romulan crew. Or captain.
She's good, not great. Again, the -2 to attack dice is interesting because it only can hit one ship. It's an action and it's limited to range 1 to 2. So it's not actually that. It's not. It's the little things that make the difference, right?
And remember, they have to be in the forward firing arc, and drones have a 90 arc.
So where shield adaptation is too good, this is not very good at all.
Right. The other thing that we have here, though, is a tech upgrade. We're going to have a lot of these. A lot of tech upgrades incoming.
Yeah.
And this one's actually pretty alright. Repair Protocol. It is a 1 per ship, drone ship only, 4-point Romulan tech upgrade. And it says end phase. Place 3 time tokens on this card. Repair 1 damage to the ship's shields or hull. So every other turn, Prototype 2 gets to pretend it's Prototype 1. Every third turn, Prototype 1 is a slightly better Prototype 1.
It's twice as good every third turn.
So it's like twice as good 1/3 of the time?
It makes it a third as good.
No, I think it's 2/3 as good.
2/3 is good.
Yeah, this is where we miss David Montgomery, guys. He's the math guy.
I much like the other techs, this makes these drone ships a little bit more survivable, right? It's not something you can use every turn, so it's not, you can't necessarily build around it. But these drone ships, to be good, because to be clear, they haven't been until now, only need to be a little bit more survivable. An extra turn or two makes a difference, right? An extra damage shield here or there, combined with those defense dice, could give you an extra turn or two, and
especially on 0-2, because this ship is maneuverable. One of the things maneuverable ships can do that I find profoundly annoying is that they can, if they don't mind not putting you in their arc, they can probably stay out of yours.
That's right.
And the fact that it can regenerate while it's stalling like that is just going to be profoundly annoying.
It's going to be a little tougher for these because they're not going to have the captain skill that you want to really make that work. But
well, one of them will. Garib can be like a 9.
Yeah, but I mean that doesn't cut the mustard these days.
That's true. All right. Moving ahead, we have some more tech upgrades. We have Disguise Protocol. It is a 1 per ship, drone ship only, 4-point Romulan tech. When defending, place 3 time tokens on this card. The attacking ship rolls -2 attack dice. If this ever is able to be taken with shield adaptation, it may be a problem.
Right, which it could be. What
You'd
did you
have
figure
to.
out? It can't be right now.
We were arguing about this with Robert before the show. Like, you have to, like, there are certain resources that can increase hull, and then what you do is you take the resources that increase the hull, right, and you get maintenance crew on the drone and put quark with this under it, or the shield adaptation under it. So by the time that you go to deploy it with quark, it it works. It checks for 4 hull and sees it. Um, but even so, this is only one ship around. It's every other round on Prototype 2. It's every third round on every other on every other drone thing.
And it's not even for the whole round, right? It's just for one ship.
Just just for one attack. Yeah, it's not.
So it's again it goes with all these other ones and makes drones a little bit more survivable. But now with all of these together, it's that those drones are going to be very frustrating to kill in the first two or three rounds, and then hopefully they'll open up, the warm weakness of their center after that. But man, they're going to be tough to kill early on.
And remember, Prototype 02 is going to be able to reduce all of these at once,
That's also true.
which is very annoying. All right, couple more. One more tech upgrade, and then I think we start to get to the weapons after that. We have propulsion matrix, activation phase. It's a 3-point Romulan tech. Activation phase. If this ship reveals a 3 straight maneuver, this ship may perform a 4 straight or 5 straight maneuver instead. If it does, place an auxiliary power token beside this ship. It's like transwarp drive, except it gives you an APT and can make the Oberth do a 5 forward.
So what the card basically does is adds a 4 red and 5 red forward to your ship's dial, except it's a little bit better because you can do those maneuvers when you already have an aux token, because they don't. The 3, assuming the 3 reveal isn't a red. So for 3 points, that's not terrible. It doesn't work with quantum slipstream drive, unfortunately, but there's reasons to take it, especially combined with a power grid. Now your not the Pegasus, the Grissom has a little bit more reach than it did before.
Which is important because we're projecting it as a ganking ship, right?
That's right, and so getting into range 2 or range 1 can be very important for depending on what effects it has on board to use.
Exactly. So it's all right. I don't know that I use it on anything that's not. I mean, it's all right. It'll see some play. Transwarp drive always did. It's all right. Triphasic emitters. This is the exact same as the old triphasic emitters, except it costs 2 points. And in the interest of time, I'm not going to read the whole thing. Long story short, you put a weapon face down beneath it that's 5 points or less and not Borg, and you get to flip this face up and do the attack if you can, and then it goes away.
So any weapon that discards already, it's a point reduction for it.
Right. This is almost never going to matter because you can't do a Borg upgrade, and it's really the only one that you'd care to with this. But it will let you use weapons your ship couldn't normally use.
Also true.
I don't know when that's relevant.
We weren't able to find a use for it, but at 2 points, there's probably something out there that's interesting.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't know. There's something. There'll be something. There always is. Okay. Oh no, I lied. Tellarite disruptor banks. 1 per ship. 4 die weapon. Range 1 to 3. Independent. 3-point weapon upgrade. Attack. Place 3 time tokens on this card. If there is at least 1 uncancelled hit, modify the defender's agility value by -1 until the end of the game round. I was wrong. There is not an option for everything.
What's that? Sorry,
I was saying,
you
I
cut
said,
out there.
sorry. I said, I was wrong. There's not an option for everything.
Yeah, this isn't good.
I
I
think. Go
if
ahead.
it just gave minus one to agility, damage or no, it'd be interesting. You know, then it's a swarm. Then it's a swarm fleet card, right? But
Hmm.
if you can do damage with 4 dice, their agility value isn't that much of a concern.
Right. I mean, so I have to say, I think this is the only card in the pack, aside from maybe Quantum Torpedoes on the Dreadnought, depending on its pricing, that I would just never play.
Yeah, 3 time tokens too. I can't see a use for it.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, as a marker of quality for this wave, right?
Oh yeah,
Like,
no. I mean, what a great place to be in. You know, we're 99% of the way done through 3 packs, and this is the first card that isn't interesting. So
four if you count the Grissom. I
that's
mean,
right. That's that,
every
and you
card
should
on
and you should count it.
right, and every card on the Grissom, there was like something we wanted to do with it in some circumstance.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
Other than those planet token ones. But anyway, let's not reignite that debate.
but here's what I mean. Even those are good if there's planets, right?
Yeah.
We agree that there's good if there's planets. This is just bad.
Yes. I can't think of a time to use this.
Right. And the last card is another tech upgrade that I guess got put out of order. Evasive Protocol. It is another, say it with me now, 1 per ship, Romulan drone only, 3-point Romulan tech. And it says, combat phase. If this ship is in the primary or secondary firing arc of an opposing ship, place 3 time tokens on this card. Perform a sensor echo action as a free action. If the ship does, remove an opposing target lock token from this ship. Do a barrel roll.
It's just like the other two. The effect is different, but it makes it a little more survivable. But now putting these 3 cards together, that's a tough ship to kill. You're losing quality with your target lock most of the time. This might even jump out of some arcs, so you lose your attack completely. I thought what was that card that came on the Hirogen, and it just removed a target lock, and it was 3 points. I thought that was worth it. This gives you a barrel roll, an addition.
Monotanium hull plating, which I just realized, by the way, is a way for the core ship to get around final stage targeting.
No, because
They can't attack you if they don't have a target lock.
It wouldn't. The core ship wouldn't run it. The other ships would run it.
Yes, that is correct, actually. Okay, anyway, evasive protocol. So what I just, the thing about this is even prototype 01, if it equips all 3 of these, which I think it has 3 tech slots, it can just alternate between these every turn, right?
Well, I think you want to blow all in a turn, and then you have a chance to really put a damper on the amount of damage they can do if you do that.
I guess it would be circumstantial, but my point is, like, you could really increase the survivability of your drone ships by just having all 3 of these.
Well, let's say you manage to. You're right. It's circumstantial, because let's say you manage to fly so that you're only getting attacked by 1 ship a turn. Yeah, 1 of these on its own is enough to probably really blunt the attack, right?
Yeah, especially this one, actually. If they're a 90-degree arc ship.
That's right. I mean, you're probably going to have to do it before they move a lot of the time. Never mind, it's the combat phase.
Yeah.
Yeah, a 90-degree ship, and just stripping them of the target lock, or even just moving to range 3 and getting that fourth defense die can matter quite a bit, right?
Depending on your luck, yeah. I mean, it's well, if you have co-pilot, for sure.
Yeah, and then now they're really working to put damage through.
Right. So this pack, I would say get two. One for Prototype 02 and one for Prototype 01.
Well, there's a couple more cards, aren't there?
I think that's it. That's it.
Well, is that it?
That's it.
I would say two because I think there's a position. Like most of the cards are for drone ships, but I think there's I think you could run two drone ships. I think you could run the one and the two. So yeah, I would, two of these packs is, and really you can justify buying five because swarm them. Five of these swarmed. I'd like to see it.
And here's the best part. If you buy all five, you could pile up the Tellarite weapons, and they'll burn for a nice long time.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well,
we got through them all. We lost Robert.
We got through them all. We did lose Robert. I'm sure you guys noticed that. We lost Robert. But
it cost you.
Wow.
It cost you Robert. Was it worth it?
For these packs, heck yeah.
Well, he's Harvey Two-Face. You like not in his attitude, in that like I'm Batman. Obviously, you're Jim Gordon. You know, it's after year one. We lost Harvey. Was it worth it?
So, I mean, I'd argue with you, but I actually went. So my friend Omar, who's a good buddy of mine, he had a 1980s cop show themed birthday party, right? Everybody's dressing as like, you know, Dirty Harry or whatever. I show up in a blue-collared suit, red suspenders with slacks way too high, glasses, a mustache, and no other facial hair, and a cigar. And I start saying to people, you know, damn it, Omar, you're a loose cannon, but you're a damn good cop. And then, for the bit of improvisation I'm most proud of, somebody, as is wont to happen at these types of events, dropped a beer. And it was awkward, right? It always is. So they were a little awkward, and everybody's... So I looked at them, I said, damn it, that's it! Turn in your badge and your gun!
Well, that's something. That's not too bad at all.
I like to think so.
I have to admire that.
All right, any final thoughts before we close off for today?
No. Happy to be in the brand new world. The future's now.
Yeah, man, is it ever. Oh, brave new world that hath such ship packs in it.
This is the time. These are the feelings.
Right.
That's a
All right.
Watchmen reference.
Yes, I am aware. And it doesn't. All right, we gotta run before we turn this into a 2-hour episode.
The Watchmen is
all right, folks.
The Watchmen is a comic book that was released in the 80s.
Yes, I am aware of what Watchmen is, Joseph.
Sure.
We can argue about it later.
Sure.
Like, for example, I am sure you will disagree with me when I say that the movie ending was actually more logical than the book ending.
Yeah, that's the stupidest thing you've ever said in your life.
Right, okay. I knew I'd get that response. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, go ahead, give us a great rating.
Last thing.
What?
One last thing.
What?
And you said a lot of stupid things in your life.
Okay, folks, if you liked today's episode, go ahead and give us a good review on iTunes. We'll see you next time, but for now, dials down and may Q be generous with your dice. State of the Federation is a non-profit, fan-based production of Tucker Kobe, Joseph Vandriat, and Robert Fletcher. Editing by Tucker Kobe. State of the Federation original concept by Will Sanchez. Star Trek Attack Wing, the flight path system, and all other properties mentioned are owned by their respective rights holders.